reaction been over the last few days since last week's defeat? Are you confident that that's out of the system, that's all focused on this weekend?
No, definitely, yeah. Like, there was a number of players sitting in the stand last weekend, and I suppose most of their attention is on this game this week. So, it's been a good week, enjoyable week. So much work goes into getting to this point, and like here we are. If you had offered us at this stage of this tournament last year, we lost in the final to La Rochelle, and you get the opportunity to come to Dublin and you're in the Aviva in the final again. So a lot of work to get to this point, but yeah, everyone's just excited to get going now. Like, it's all the talk and the noise and all the rest, but it's two teams going at it and doing what they can for their respective clubs. It's great in many ways. Like, there's so many great battles have taken place to get to this point. So for our guys, it's really about delivering now. But no, there hasn't been a major hangover from last week. No.
There's a lot of different personnel in the La Rochelle team compared to the team you played last year in the final. Do they still pose the same threats, the same kind of style of play that you've been up against?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like, it's been well documented, isn't it? So in terms of the way they approach the game. So for us, it's just trying to deliver for ourselves on our own plan now. Making sure we're nice and calm, because it's going to be a chaotic enough type of atmosphere out there. So making sure we're nice and calm within that, and as I said, just trying to deliver as best we possibly can, commit to the plan and deliver. But it's unbelievably exciting to be here.
Bill, the team you picked is as close probably to your first 15 as you can get it. How crucial is that going to be?
We'll wait and see. But we're pretty comfortable with the group that we have. So, excited to see them go now. As I said, there's so much work on it to get to this point. With the players, what they deliver. As I said, we got to this point last year. The group got to this point last year, bitterly disappointed. And sometimes that can be hard getting over that disappointment. So how everyone's in the organisation is refocused, to get back to this stage, and it's amazing to be here in Dublin, isn't it? We were in France last year, so to be in Dublin for a final. I talked plenty over the course of the season. When there was a final in Dublin in 2003, we lost the semi-final stage against Perpignan. In the final 10 years later in 2013, we were playing up the road in the RDS on a Friday night, which was a good day, but it wasn't the game that we wanted to be involved in. We were watching two French teams, so it's great to be here, and it's a real honour. So for us, it's just making sure we do everything we can to deliver our best performance, and the players that we've picked, we've full confidence in now that they'll be able to do a good job for the wider group.
Question for James. James, the game last year was obviously incredibly tight, and there was a decision that you stuck with throughout that second half to take the 3 points, and you established a lead. If the similar situation arises tomorrow, will you go for the corner as you pretty much have one, as is kind of the Leinster DNA?
Don't know, to be honest yet. It's not that easy. It's a big part of it is feel and trusting your gut, trusting your instinct. So see how the game's going. See how our set piece is doing, how our line-out drive's doing, and weigh up all these things. But it won't just be my decision. Do you know what I mean? It'll be a decision that I make alongside Gary and Ross Byrne, Ross Maloney. So. But a feel is a big part of it. Do you know what I mean? Being out there and trusting your gut, as I said. So, we'll see how we go.
Elliot, how are things? You were saying, a little bit of the excitement is this week. But a lot of pressure comes with any final that you're in, particularly when you're playing the same team as last year. How do you feel the team are responding to that pressure this week?
Pressure's a funny thing, isn't it, Joe? There's definitely, everyone is nervous because they want to do their best, and it's such an amazing tournament, isn't it? You see the room here, so there's a real privilege to be here. But as I said, the guys, it's got to go back to the preparation during the course of the week, and you can't fault the lads. They prepared unbelievably well this week, and I can't wait to see them play. And deliver something close to their best, and that's all they can do. But yeah, the pressure is a good thing. Like, as in, that's what we all want to be here. As I said, if you offer this opportunity after the final last year, okay, knowing that there's a final in Dublin the year after, and we're here now, so it's exactly where we want to be. So like, it's a pressure, but it's the most positive pressure we could ask for. And yeah, we hope we have a big turnout of supporters. Hope that everyone gets behind the team. It was very hard to get to Marseille last year for Leinster supporters. We were very appreciative of the group that were there. I remember walking through the airport after the game and the disappointment on so many people's faces. But we're here again at this stage, and that's exactly where we want to be at this moment in time. And hopefully we have a big turnout tomorrow of Leinster fans, and everyone gets behind the team. And because that relationship is important, you know, there's been plenty of talk about over the last probably 10 years. When I think back to that final when it was 2013, when, as I said, we didn't qualify from the pool stages that year, so we were playing in the Challenge Cup final. Two French teams, two top 14 teams, competed in the final that week, which was Toulon against Clermont. And everyone was asking the question at that stage: would we ever be able to compete with these French giants? You know, so what's our point of difference? Our point of difference has to be some of the supporter base that we have, so which allows us to do certain things. So that connection, hopefully, it will be there tomorrow. Everyone's worked so hard, you know, to get us to this point. So, like, pressure. This is exactly the type of pressure we want. As I said, like, it's a privilege to be here. It's not something we take lightly. We've sort of been knocking on the door in a few different finals. You know, it hasn't quite gone our way, but again, it's just going back to preparing the team as well as we possibly can, and now just about delivering on the big day and committing, as I said, to the plan. Nice and calm, composed, everything that we do.
Just for yourself, James, I'm sure that loss last year stayed with you for a while. What can you take from that to apply for tomorrow's game?
But you just know finals are fine margins, you know what I mean? And tomorrow's going to be no different. That's the big thing. It's going to be another close final, I think. So, I mean, the big thing is just you know, we don't know how it's going to go tomorrow, but the big thing for us is we prepared really well this week. I think we're in a great space, and we're just excited to play in a home final. That's a big one, but I mean, all the important parts of the game are still there. You know, obviously defence is so important in the final, and they've got a particularly good attack. You know, they play with great width. Set piece is crucial. So just getting all those kind of main areas right of the game. But yeah, we're excited. As Leo said, to play in front of our own supporters, our family and friends. It's a very unique, you know, special day. So we're looking forward to it.
Hi Leo. James mentioned some of the attributes that we know La Rochelle bring, a kind of almost unique physicality, the heavy runners, the breakdown threat. When you've come unstuck in this tournament, it's generally been against big power teams. What would have been the key lessons from last year in particular that you'll be taking into tomorrow?
Yeah, like if you look back on that game, like we're 18-10 ahead, and you know, it's a sort of a bizarre bounce, and the ball comes back into play. So, like for the first 60 minutes, we're dealing pretty well. It's probably how we managed some of that last 15 minutes. Even, you know, from our game last week, you know, we some younger guys into that atmosphere here last weekend, and there's definitely some good lessons in that and how we managed that last 10 minutes. So, you know, if you think back to the final last year, you know, like, yeah, I think our guys are pretty comfortable in how they managed it for the majority of the game. It was just that literally last period, and there was probably a few decisions that we made there, and you know, individuals collectively, like we reviewed that in lots of different forms in the year since. Yeah, but I think our group has grown all the time as well. So, like, it's definitely different model, isn't it? It's like, because, you know, like, we've, generally speaking, you know, we've young guys come through the club, and you have to get them to whatever 50, 100, 150 games. They have to get picked that many times for Leinster. So it's not a quick process, is it, to build a really experienced group? But I think we have a very experienced group now, and a lot of that group will have learned a huge amount since last year. A lot of them went away with Ireland during the summer and picked up obviously won a series in New Zealand, where there was a lot of Leinster players that are in our 23 tomorrow that were featured in that, and obviously since they've done some great things with Ireland as well. So you're looking for all that experience to come to the fore now, of playing big games, and yeah, we'll see where it takes us. But that's the thing; it's just accumulating experience all the time, because that's the way our model works. So we're not going out to the marketplace like a top 14 team would do. It's a slower process for us bringing guys through. But as I said, I think there's a group here now that are ready to do business on the biggest day. So we'll see how we go tomorrow.
And just finally for me, tomorrow's going to be all about the collective, quite obviously, but you've got two guys who are leaving who have really been so critical to your success recently, Johnny and Stuart, obviously. How much are you addressing that, embracing it, talking about it, or are you parking it until final whistle?
Well, Johnny's been around the whole time, so and yeah, it's an emotional always time of the year for clubs all across all the leagues, because they're like the great teams have great bonds with some great characters, and the two guys you mentioned, and there's more as well, and that's again part of there's the continuous cycle for us, because we've 45 senior players, there's 20 in the academy, so that's a 3-year cycle. So every year there's 7-8 academy players come into the building, and those numbers basically stay the same, and that's the way the cycle works. So there's the next generation of young player coming through, and with that in mind, then there's always 7 or 8 guys have to leave, to make space for the young guys, and the players all go. That's the way the model works. But yeah, Johnny's been an amazing contributor to the team over such a long period of time, and I've had the pleasure of playing with him and coaching alongside Johnny. I say coaching him, but a brilliant character, yeah. And for Stuart, who's done 7 years with the club, it's pretty amazing serving in terms of the time, commitment, energy, everything that he's given of himself. And it's not just with the senior team; it's coaches, backroom, underage rugby, some of the domestic game. Again, that domestic game part of the wider piece in Leinster Rugby. He's been a huge contributor there, and the two guys, they'll leave a great mark on lots of us. But so 2 great men, and yeah, hopefully they'll have a good send-off now tomorrow.
Sorry.
Okay.
Une question pour tous les deux. Est-ce que vous êtes vraiment animés par un sentiment de revanche par rapport à la finale perdue la saison dernière à Marseille? Est-ce que c'est un levier de motivation à la veille de cette finale?
No, revenge is a sort of funny word, isn't it? I just think it's been at home, like in your home city, I guess, and it's just delivering a performance in front of your own fans. And as James touched on, it's always a scramble sometimes to get to a final, for friends and family and travel, and there's so many different challenges at this stage of the season. So to be here at home in front of friends and family with people that support us all the time, and hopefully we'll have that sea of blue here, and I think that's enough motivation for us.
En France, on parle beaucoup de la difficulté que pourrait avoir La Rochelle à vous contrôler, à vous contrer. Est-ce que vous aussi, vous avez une sorte de crainte par rapport à cette équipe de La Rochelle? Ronan O'Gara disait que ça allait être difficile également pour vous. Est-ce que c'est vraiment 2 équipes qui se ressemblent et qui sont toutes les 2 aussi puissantes qui vont s'affronter demain?
Yeah, listen, I think when you get to a final, you're going to have very good teams. So there's 2 very strong teams at this stage of the tournament, because you're not here by fluke. There's no way of fluking your way to get to this stage of the tournament. So you navigate your way through the pool system, and the pool system, the way it is now, it's more about, it's a seeding system, isn't it? Because 8 of the 12 teams qualify from each side and you're into the last 16. So both teams have had a home-ish run to get to this point. So yeah, there's going to be good teams left. So it's going to be a great matchup, I think. I'm excited. Are you?
Yes, very much.
Hi James, on Stuart Lancaster, his final game, can you just sum up the impact he's had as a coach over the last 7 seasons?
Yeah, huge impact obviously. Both on and off the pitch. No, he's been brilliant. And yeah, I mean on the pitch, just some of those, you know, the way we play and that kind of Leinster DNA, you know, that the club has always had. You know, when we've been at our best, he's been a big part of that. And off field as well. As you know, as Leo touched on, he does a huge amount of work off field in terms of you know, personal growth and off field development, and he's been brilliant in terms of things like leadership. You know, bringing through the next you know, next crop of leaders in the club, and I suppose kind of not teaching us, but showing us a kind of bit of direction there as well. So he's added a huge amount, in terms of you know, his all round contribution. So yeah, we'll miss him.
And Leo, in terms of your sort of win-loss over Stuart and your time in charge the last 7 years, the win-loss is outstanding, but just the one Champions Cup in 2018, do you kind of feel that it'd be fitting reward for how dominant you've been as a side to win a second tomorrow?
Yeah, like it would be great, obviously. Like it's so hard to win this tournament, isn't it? You think you're on a roll at different stages. I think back to that time, 2009, 11 and 12, and you think like, oh, because it was so hard up to that point. But then you're thinking, maybe it's not as hard as we thought it was, but it is hard. It's unbelievably hard. And there's so many good teams. And to navigate your way through the season, you know, there's so many bloody variables, isn't there, to get through. So we've been very close, very, very close last year, which was a painful experience to go through, as we know. But you're down to, like, it's the last 2 minutes of the game, and you're ahead for majority of the game, and you give up the lead right at the end, and like that's it, opportunity lost. So yeah, credit to everybody. They've worked away and get back to that point. But anyway, it's just on to the next one, isn't it? It's on to the next one always. And here we are again. So great opportunity, but it's about just delivering performance. Like, don't look too far into the future. It's just, again, go back to the plan, deliver on the plan. Try and make a good plan before you deliver on the plan. You know, then it's just committing to the plan, and yeah, no, it's just making sure we deliver on our jobs now, because that's what it's all about. No point looking too far into the future or the past, for that matter.
I think just a question about the pitch, I suppose. You're so familiar with the surroundings, but the pitch itself offers width. Is that something that, I'm not saying they can't exploit it themselves, but is that something you feel as a team you can exploit?
Yeah, like definitely the dimensions of the Aviva here are bigger, say, than the dimensions of the pitch we played on in Marseille last year. So it is a bigger surface. What does that mean? Yeah, like you still got to get as James touched on, like you got to get the fundamentals of your game right. So contact area, set piece, battle. So you got to get those bits right. But there's definitely will be more space to play in. So again, who's able to exploit that additional space will be key. Because again, you get down to finals, nailing opportunities during the course of the game. So yeah, making sure you understand. Yeah, but our lads have obviously they played here plenty, so they're pretty comfortable with the surface now at this point.
So then final one to James, maybe to bring it back. I know you've talked about it before, but just finally, it's as good as it gets at this level, isn't it? So not internationally to play a final for Leinster, don't we just try and put it into words what that actually means to someone who's grown up within the whole setup to actually step out there and to lead the side tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously it means a huge amount, and as I said, being able to play a Champions Cup final in Dublin and represent this club is going to be very special, definitely. Yeah, that took a little bit of time to sink in during the week, but yeah, I know it's a boring answer, but you can't kind of dwell on that too long because we've got to be very performance focused this week. If you kind of get sidetracked by everything that goes with a day like tomorrow, then you probably lose a little bit of focus. So, our focus all week, and for me personally, has been on us performing as well as we possibly can tomorrow, and the rest of it kind of looks after itself.
Okay, last two questions for Leinster.
Yeah, just saw Ty stepping out of training and wearing something rough socks on his calf. Is that a precaution that you just tell him what it is?
He's okay, yeah. There was a few guys didn't train today now, so and that's the way it would be normal captain's run. So some guys step out. James, captain's run, he runs it, so you'd have to ask him. You'd have to give. James was actually training here, so yeah, it's normal course of events. Yeah, but no, he's good to go.
Can you just tell us quickly about your relationship with the Boogeyman? Have you played with Ronan internationally? Did you rule
The
him?
Boogeyman.
Yeah. And specifically, the working journalists down at Leinster, we often see, say, former Liverpool players, coming in and looking at training, and I know that you're very accommodating to people who've written. Has Roger crossed the threshold up at UCD?
No, he hasn't asked yet. So maybe next week he might win.
Did you rule him when you played with him?
Good question, yeah. I'm sure at some stage. Yeah, we would have been involved in underage teams. He's a year older than I am, Rob, so. Yeah, we've played in many teams now over the years, yeah. So it'll be a good old battle now, yeah. But neither of us are playing, so.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks to Leon. Thanks.